Hi everyone. So sometime interviewer can ask you to do the same question in a different way. So generally interviewer asks you these type of a question just to see that how can you implement the different approaches in order to solve a same question. Okay. So in this video, we are going to see how to print even number from 1 to 10. And there will be a 5 approaches which we are going to discuss. And let's start the video. So let's create a list from 1 to 10. In order to create a list, I'm going to use a range function. And inside range, I will give a value 1, 11. So my range will start from 1 and it will go up till 10. Okay, so let's create it and print the list. So this is my list starting from 1 to 10. Now we are going to see the first approach where we're going to use for loop and mod logic. I think everybody should know this logic. If you have to calculate if a particular number is even or not, then you have to do a number modulo 2. And if that value comes to equal to 0, that means that number is even, otherwise that number is odd. So what we are doing over here is we are using a for loop. We are iterating over our list, and every time in every iteration, one number will get assigned to this variable n. We are checking that variable. If the modulo of that variable equal to 0, then we are printing it. So obviously it is only going to print the even number. Let's run this code and check the output. So here it has printed all the even number for us. Now in the second approach, we're going to use range function and the step size. So basically, whenever we implement a range function, it has three arguments. One is the starting range, second is the ending range, third is the step size. So by default, the step size is 1. That means that it will print all the element. It will not skip any element from starting till end. Okay. So if you want to skip it, if you want to print alternate number, then in that case, you have to increase it and it will print the alternate number for you. For example, if you want to give a gap of 3 number, then it will print all the number in a gap of 3. Okay. But in our case, the requirement is to print the even number. So we already know that even number starts from 2. So we will take our starting range from 2. Okay. And we need to find out it within 10. So that's why the ending range is 11, because range will always take ending range as ending number, which you have given -1. So we have already ran it, and this is the way we can again print the even number from the range 1 to 10. Now let's see the third way of doing it. In third way, we will be using list comprehension. So list comprehension is another way of creating a list. So this is the syntax for list comprehension, where inside the square bracket, you will use a for loop. Okay. And in for loop, you will iterate over your existing list. And then in the right hand side, you will see the if condition. And if this if condition gets successfully qualified, then here it is the expression. Okay. So this is nothing but similar like this. You are giving a for loop and then you have a if condition, and this is your expression. So this is the syntax of comprehension list. So what we are doing over here is we are again creating a list for us. This is input list, and utilizing this input list, we will create our target list. As per the syntax, this is the code for that. We are running a for loop for our list. This is our iterable. Our iterable is L. One by one, the number from this list will assign to n. And for every number, we're going to check if number modulo 2 is equal to 0. If yes, then only we are going to assign that number to the list. So list comprehension will automatically give you a list. It is not something like that you need to typecast it to the list. It will be automatically a new list for you. So let's print this new list, which is LT. Yeah. So the top one is our input and the bottom one is our output. So we can see that the LT contains only the even number. Now we're going to use filter function and map function. These are very two interesting function and little advanced topic in Python. I will cover up in a very simple way. So what is the syntax of filter function? You need to write filter. Inside that, you need to give one lambda function, and then you can give iterable. So in our case, iterable is our list. So what we have done, this is our input list, and this is the logic which we have implemented. So let's discuss it one by one. Just focus on the highlighted part. Here, what we are doing, we are implementing filter function. So inside filter, we need to give our iterable. In our case, the iterable is this list. Okay. And the first argument will be your lambda function. So this is our lambda function. So here what we are doing in filter is we are taking one element at a time from this list, and then we are comparing that again. So one element from this list will get assigned to this n variable. And again, we are checking if that variable is even or odd. Okay. And if it is even, then only it will get assigned to this filter object. But we cannot see any element in a filter object by just printing it. In order to see the variable inside it, we need to convert it into some iterable. So what we are doing, once the filter logic is implemented, we are converting that filter object into list, and then we are printing it out. Okay. Otherwise, if you will only print this filter function, it will just give you a filter object and you will not be able to see any element. So you will have to explicitly convert it into list. Let me run it and let's see. So this is our input and the second one is our output. Okay. Now, in case of map function syntax is again similar to the filter function. The difference between these two is in map, as the name suggests, if you give an input, then you will get an output from it. But in case of filter, it depends on the condition, whatever condition you are using. If every time the condition is getting fulfilled, in that case, the number of input will be equal to number of output. But if in some cases or some scenario, if this condition will not get fulfilled, then obviously the number of input will always greater than your number of output. Let's use map function. So in map function, as we already know that if there are an input, then there will be an output. So what we are doing over here while creating our input list, we are not taking element from 1 to 11 because we already know that from 1 to 10 there will be only 5 even numbers. So what we are doing, we are taking range from 1 to 6, which will give us number as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then what we're going to do is, we already know that if we will multiply our number with 2, it will convert it into a even number, right? So here we are implementing the same logic. It is a little bit of a jugaad, I would say, but I just wanted to show you that this is also possible from map. However, there are some pre-assumptions which we have taken. So, but still, it's a good for our learning. So let's see how it is working in map. What we will do is, instead of this, I will write L over here so that it will become more clear to you. So again, we inside map we will give the lambda function and one iterable. In our case, the iterable is L, and then the lambda function will run one by one for each and every element of this list. Okay, so every time there will be one number coming from this L and will be getting assigned to this X variable. What we will do after that, we will multiply that X variable with multiple 2, and it will give us the corresponding even number. So let's try to run it. And here we can see that this was our input and this was the output. So that's it for this video, guys. If you like this video, please subscribe my channel. I will be adding more video in the same playlist. And then happy learning. Take care. Bye bye.